Today, we're going to talk about one of the great scientists of history. His name is Christian Huygens. Believe it or not, that's his name, Christian Huygens. He lived around the same time as Isaac Newton, and Christian Huygens came up with some brilliant ideas and a cool invention that I want to show you as well. So let's get right to it. Christian Huygens. He was a scientist back in the 17th century, the 1600s, and he's noted for a number of really cool improvements in the field of science. The first one, he had a lot of time to think about. He actually is the dude who invented a really precise pendulum clock. Now, a pendulum clock is a clock that uses a pendulum to go back and forth, back and forth. Ooh! But that's not why he invented the pendulum clock to hypnotize people. He invented the pendulum clock in order to keep really precise time, which was a very good innovation back then. But another thing he was famous for was grinding lenses to make his own microscopes as well as his own telescopes. Yeah, he was really interested in looking at the night sky. And he is known for creating some of the most powerful telescopes of his day. Yes, and with these telescopes, he was able to see some really outrageous things, including the ringed planet Saturn. Saturn. We know Saturn today because of its cool rings, right? But people didn't always know about the rings. They just knew that looking in a telescope, the planet seemed to be kind of like an egg-shaped. Until Christian Huygens came along, however, because with his cool telescopes, he was able to make out the detail of the rings around Saturn. And he saw for the first time that they were these flat rings going around the planet. In fact, a number of years ago, NASA sent up a spaceship to the planet Saturn. And it orbited the planet hundreds of times and sent out a special probe. Named after this scientist, it was called the Huygens probe, which landed on one of the moons of Saturn that Christian Huygens discovered. And it was the moon called Titan, which actually has liquid oceans just like planet Earth. Now, they're not liquid oceans of water, they're oceans of liquid methane, but that's another story for another day. But another one of the really cool things that Christian Huygens is noted for is the fact that he studied light. And unlike Isaac Newton, that believed light was a particle, Christian Huygens believed that light was a ray, and it behaved more like waves than like particles. So right now, you are probably blinded by the light, but we're going to use light here in a moment to show you one of the really cool devices that Christian Huygens invented. Are you ready? Here it is. It is a magical device. And I just so happen to have one here in this cool box. And it is called a magic lantern. Whoa, what is a magic lantern, you might be saying? Well, let me show you. A magic lantern is a device that enables the projection of images onto a wall. It's the precursor to movies. Like if you've ever gone to a movie theater, which I'm sure most of you have, well, movies didn't exist back in the 17th century, but Huygens is the one who developed this device that enabled kids and adults to see some pretty cool stuff. You see, with his lens experience, he was able to grind some lenses and came up with a system of measuring the distance between the lenses. And he got a light source. It started off with candles, but it later developed into gas lamps. And this light source would go inside the magic lantern. Whoop, and there would be a little tower here to capture the smoke that would come up so it wouldn't get into people's faces. And then you'd put these little strips of glass slides in between the light and the lens, and woo, it would project an image on a wall. Now, this is a simple example of a magic lantern, but I have a special surprise for you as I put this one away. I have a magic lantern that is being passed down through my family for generations. And this magic lantern was made in Germany in the 1800s and has seen a lot of action and has come a long way to be on this show right now. But while I am getting this magic lantern ready, let me tell you a little story about Christian Huygens when he was younger and he developed this magic lantern. He came up with some pretty funky things. He was kind of into a lot of different types of sciences, including physiology regarding the human body. And he put together this magic lantern projector with some pretty scary scenes of the human skeleton moving. Now, he thought it was just kind of a cool toy for him, but his father was so interested in it that he went to a party one night. This is his father, and at that time they were living in Paris, France. And his father told his one son to go home and get Christian's magic lantern. I want to show everybody at this party this cool skeleton moving around. Well, Christian Huygens was kind of embarrassed by it, so he actually sabotaged it so it wouldn't work at the party. But now this magic lantern, this family heirloom, works the same way as the other one, but I want to show you the guts of it. The back of it opens up, and inside this magic lantern is a light source, and this light source looks like this. It is actually an oil lamp that gets lit. There's a kerosene fuel that goes in there, and it's got two strips of illuminating lights here. It goes on a little case like this, and on one side there's clear glass, so the light will get shined out one side, and on the other side is a little mirror with a blue window in it. Now the mirror on the inside helps to reflect the light forward through the lenses, and the little blue window on the back enables you as the operator to see whether the light needs to be turned up or turned down a little bit. So this is how this magic lantern works. The smoke comes out of the chimney, the light goes through the lens, and kids would have collections, kind of like today people might have DVDs to watch things on TV. Well, hundreds of years ago, kids would have boxes of magic lantern slides, and they would open up their collection and remove a slide. And once their magic lantern was lit, they would slide the slide through their magic lantern, and the image would appear on the screen. And in a moment, I'm going to show you a typical story shown with the magic lantern. Remember, Magic lantern invented by Christian Huygens, one of the greatest scientists of all time.
Ich weiß, wie man ganz kaltes Wasser hinbekommt. Oh, Sina, mein jetzt gleich. Toll. Ich mache jetzt ganz kaltes Wasser, dann haben wir einen Jungbrunnen. Ja? Also nicht ganz kalt, der ist aber schon kalt. Ich muss mal eben was machen. Also nicht ganz kalt, der ist aber schon kalt.
Woher sind Sie, meine Trauben? Ganze Kiste Erdbeeren nur 2 Euro. Ganze Kiste Erdbeeren nur 2 Euro. Ganze Kiste Erdbeeren nur 2 Euro. Ganze Kiste Erdbeeren nur 2 Euro.
يعقوب هذا قاعد قدام
Ganze Kiste Erdbeeren nur 2 Euro. Ganze Kiste Erdbeeren nur 2 Euro. Wallahi, meine Trauben, Italiano, Suluka.
Bye.